One.
Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I'm a social recruiting trainer and speaker. I'm of course joined by my gorgeous co-host who's currently stroking Bloodcat, Audra Knight, employment branding genius, nerd, bass player, ice hockey player. What else are you? Cast riddled.
Super cool.
Super cool. Today, we're very excited to be talking to Billy McDermott. See, I can't even say his surname. I was just going to say who we can't understand because he's from Glasgow, but Billy McDermott. Dermot, something. He's going to pronounce his name for you. Recruitment marketing extraordinaire. Welcome.
Thank you on this sunny Friday.
Yeah, it is sunny.
Asking me to come on board.
Oh,
I should have brought my cat.
Yeah, right.
Oh, are you getting Billy or not getting Billy?
No, we're having some.
No, we lost Billy.
I wish it was good before we started.
Oh no, I'm gone.
It's okay, we can hear you.
Oh, I'm back. There
We
we
can
go.
hear you. That's the important part. That's the main thing. You're there. Hello, everybody's saying hello. We've lost Billy, but you can hear him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back. Let's try. Billy, if you can hear us, can you give us a little background of your career and what you're doing now with Canada ID and the consultancy business?
Okay, maybe not. 2 seconds is coming back. We just had this whole conversation about how good the Wi-Fi is and the pipe. Yeah. So, Colin, I'm just writing, is it just for Billy that it's bad? Or is it everybody?
I can always pack Jackie in if he doesn't go.
Yeah. Let's patch Jackie. Oh, hang on, is she like dressed? That's good.
I bet she's in her PJs and she's eating peanut butter from a jar.
Will there be a recording of this that I can play back later? This sure will, Julie. And by then, you never know, he may have reappeared. Oh, goodness, I need to actually invite him back on screen. There's the thought. I'm not paying attention.
It was working so well.
I know, we were having a whole conversation. No, it's accepted and he's reconnecting. 2 connections from Glasgow are not possible. Yeah, Stephen, get off. We blame
It's totally
you.
Stephen's fault.
Oh, poor Steve. We might have to patch you in. You might have to fill in.
Jackie, are you eating ham pieces right now?
Tell Billy to stop playing with the cats. I love that, John. Who's dressed? I'll make sure next time I am always ready for the backup. Hey, it's Steve.
Steve will come on if we get stuck.
Steve, are you dressed?
Put some pants on, Steve. Oh, God. So what?
I don't know if Lucia's been on before, so I'm sorry if you're thinking this is slightly daft. We seem to have lost our guest.
There's Matt. Everyone's here, too.
I'm going to remove him again and let him accept and reconnect because I don't think it's working. Invite on screen. Yes. Last I heard he was in Scotland. Yeah.
Like your presence on the
north of the border, Wi-Fi problems.
Is it definitely his or could it be mine? Because I'm in a different room. I don't think yeah.
Now I'm saying invite him on. Yeah, invited a few seconds ago. Accepted and connecting.
There we go.
And he's back. Right, so we were just wasted 3 minutes talking to everybody at the side channel. Exciting.
Sorry about that.
It was give us a bit of background about how you've ended up where you are.
Yeah, cool. So I started the recruitment in 2005 with HR consultancy. Started off as a financial services recruiter. Within 2 years, realised that I couldn't sell. Which as an agency recruiter is a bit of a given. So moved into the operations side where I started to get involved in marketing, technology, a bit of data work, various bits and pieces. And we're now in 2017 and I'm now the marketing director. We've got 50 people, I think, in the business. And I do a bit of everything. I do a bit of sourcing, I do a bit of technology, I do a bit of marketing, quite a lot of data work as well. Basically anything that will keep me in a job.
Yeah, I completely agree with that whole biz dev side. It's hard. I couldn't do it either. I was just really lucky. Doors opened for me at exactly the right moment. But
yeah, it's
even harder now because there's even more barriers. They can put more, obstacles in the way of getting through to them.
You've got to be a certain type, and actually the way the person, I admire the tenacity of our guys who can constantly pick up the phone 50 times a day and be able to do it. But I try and help them with my lovely team. We've got our marketing content executive and our marketing administrator with us, who try and help our guys to break down doors a different way instead of doing that. So
Steve Levy wants to know if you're having a party.
Yeah, I'm afraid I've had to come into the office because the Wi-Fi broke in one of the rooms. So I've had to connect to the Ethernet. So
tell them to come and say hello. Let's just to make it inclusive.
Let's see. Do you want to come and say hello? Come on. Come on.
This is our show. We can be as crazy as we want. Cat. I sent
Look at Mary. There we go.
Hey, it's a party.
What's that tie? What's he wearing a tie for? What's wrong with him?
He just turned up from school like one day and he stayed, so it's still a school tie he's got on.
It does look like that. I've actually been having this whole conversation, and I still think technology has a lot to do with this, how we've become more and more relaxed in our attire.
Yeah.
Because either it is we've just decided that we're just not doing it anymore, or we're all working remotely, or it's just, it's not like I'm posh from here up and then there's shorts.
Sweatpants.
We've kind of changed the way we dress as well, because it makes candidates feel really uncomfortable. If you turn up in a suit and tie, it's like you're not turning up to see a lawyer. You're turning up to someone that's going to help you find a job. And so we've kind of relaxed it a little bit because of that. That perception is really, really important.
Yep. That's very true. So we decided to have this show because we were ranting about, hard to believe, that's that old school thinking with recruitment agencies about the fear of social media. And I don't actually think it's just the agency side, but that whole ownership of who owns the, Katrina was ranting, I was too, it's hard to believe, but who owns the data, and then like with the fear of, we can only go on LinkedIn and we have to be X, Y, Z. So it'd be fun to hear more about your thoughts. You said you had a story to tell us.
Yeah, it's about, we've had comments recently about complaints from people in the business who, we all connect, we're pretty inclusive, we're all friends in the business, we all connect with each other on Facebook, but people were complaining in the office about people discussing politics on Facebook, for example. What if my candidates see it? What if my clients see it? Oh no. Well, actually, if your candidates or clients see it, they'll probably see you as being a fairly well-rounded individual instead of someone who posts about Love Island or posts about other reality TV shows. Can
you please explain to me, mainly Americans on the call, what Love Island is?
I don't know, think about the worst reality TV show that you have in the US, and then, maybe reduce the quality by another 10 and you're probably close to it. So,
yeah. But, very true.
So that's the thing. For me, it's about showing your personality. If you're the type of person that's into politics, then talk about it. If you're the type of person that's into Star Trek, then talk about it. If it's Love Island, then talk about it. If I see you talking about Love Island, I'll probably block you. I'm not going to unfriend you, but I'll probably block you from doing it. But for me,
I might have unfollowed the odd person who's been talking too much about the orange one. I'm like sick of seeing him.
Well, exactly. And for me, it's about how you show your personality, and that's a massive part of it. I'm pretty open and honest on the channels that I use. Facebook and Twitter mainly. You can go on and onto my Twitter and see my cat pictures. You can see what I did at the weekend when I was at the music festival that I was at. But at the same time, you can hear me sharing stuff about today's show or talking about what I'm working on, and actually, it's all about showing a well-rounded person who
you are, right?
That's what it's about, instead of just the really boring crap recruiter, who wears a suit and tie 7 days a week, and all they talk about is business, accountants or lawyers or anything like that. And I think it's a massive thing. I get people talking to me because of my interest in music, my interest in cats, my interest in travel, before they talk to me about sourcing or before they talk to me about marketing or...
well, technically, before you said, hi, Audrey, you went, ooh, cat.
Exactly.
It was quite amusing. But it's funny, I think sometimes we sort of forget that whole split personality thing. It kind of started when social media appeared, didn't it? So for those of us that are old enough, I think it is. I understand the resistance because suddenly it was meant to be. We were professional on one and personal on the other. But it's just the world's not like that, is it?
No, and that's because that's the way LinkedIn. You know, I try not to be too hard on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn tried to make us think that. You know, tried to think this is a business network, so you need to be a business person instead of actually just be a person. You know, and I think each of the I am convinced that the boundaries. LinkedIn, the boundaries I think and hope amongst people they are coming down. I think people are becoming a bit more human on LinkedIn, and they're now beginning to realise the benefits of going, actually, let's just open up on Facebook a little bit. Let's stop the dual profile thing on Facebook. Let's not have Billy McDermott on one side and Billy McDermott Recruiter on the other. Just have Billy McDermott.
Well, for a start, you're breaching the terms and conditions, and your account could be just closed on you. And also, if you send me a message on Facebook and it's your recruiter account and you've got 2 connections, I'm just going to be like, well, actually, we've just been talking about, haven't we, Audra, about fake profiles. And it's just like, I just delete you straight away if you've got no friends. Yeah. I'd expect you to have 400 friends by now. It's been around however long.
It's too hard to maintain 2. It takes too long to have 2 accounts and keep them both going. And then if one of them sits blank, like your professional one.
Yeah. But also, do you really want to share stuff on social media that is so bad that you need to lock it down just into your friends anyway? You've heard a screenshot, right? So you have that really racist or political rant, someone's just going to screenshot it and take it out into the public. So yeah, mad.
I think it's one of, we've all, it's not like it's a new thing. It's not like Facebook's new. It's not like Twitter's new. Obviously we've all in the past got, probably put posts up there that we didn't want people to see. But I think most people now have learned about that. They know what's the right way to behave, but also the right way to make yourself look like you. And that's a big part. And in my view is if people don't like the way that I talk on Twitter or talk on Facebook or talk on LinkedIn, cool, that's completely up to you. But you're probably not the kind of person that I want to do business with. So,
yeah, that's so true. It was interesting at Wreckfest because I shared the slide about like creating an incognito window and Googling yourself. And it was amazing because Catherine Robinson shared it out, and how many times it got retweeted? Because clearly it's obviously rare for people to search for themselves. You think, wow, you really should.
I've still got, when I do it on image search, I've still got I'm fairly fat at the moment, but I've still got a really fat picture of me from about 4 years ago. It still comes up, and I've got these big massive glasses on, and don't share it though. Please don't search and share it.
Yeah, well the trick is just to bury it. You just have to produce more photos, upload them to your different profiles with your name, and you'll bury it.
Yeah,
or just own it.
That's what I'm trying to do. Or to have your name in the link, in the name of the image every time you upload it, isn't it?
Yep. Use your name and your company or whatever keywords you want to be found by, and then upload them to Twitter or LinkedIn, and they'll rise above that one that you don't like.
And get lots of people to click on the ones you do like.
But now all you're doing is telling Steve how he can now upload that and make sure that it goes to the top again.
Absolutely. It will be going viral any minute about before and after. He'll have taken a new photo. Completely. So, but going back to this whole, why do you think there's still this resistance? I mean, amongst recruitment leaders, so much. I mean, I think more than the actual staff. A lot of the time it's the owners of the recruitment agencies, for example, who are so resistant.
I think there's this view that, as soon as a client or candidate sees a view that is controversial or is, take politics, okay, I'll keep coming back to that example because in the UK and the US we're obsessed with it, but, if I'm left-wing, so I'm fairly on the left, if I share a left-wing view and one of our clients who's more right-wing sees it, then, the agency owner might go, oh no, that person won't do business with us because they've shared a completely different view, or because they've shared a completely different view. And that seems to be at the root cause of it. And I still see it in social media policies as well. Don't share anything that might bring the company into disrepute. I appreciate that. I completely appreciate it. But I don't think there's a real understanding about what will bring the company into disrepute. you know, in my view, as long as you're not sharing anything that's offensive, that's homophobic, that's sexist, that's racist, all of these things that we all, as you know, the vast majority of us as normal human beings, or you know, reasonable human beings shouldn't be doing, then I think that's all your social media policy internally should say. Just, you know, don't be a dick. You know, as long as you're...
We could just write that, don't be a dick, right?
Yeah.
There's your policy.
Just don't.
We might probably need to find a slightly more HR-friendly word, but I kind of like that.
You know, that's it. It's and I've seen in the UK just now as well. There was a story yesterday about members of Parliament, you know, being specifically targeted, and that as well. That's different. You know, if you're you would hope and expect that people that you employ and people that you work with aren't going to specifically target either anyone that they're working with or clients or members of Parliament or whoever it actually is. Then, you know, don't target people. Just be yourself, be normal. And if you're going to share anything hateful, go to Reddit, you know, or 4chan. You know, there's that pocket of the internet over there that you can express under whatever username you want, whatever you want to do. Off you go.
And God, don't do it in your name, for goodness sake.
Exactly. But
even from a career point of view, you're just being stupid these days.
Yeah, but if you're a douchebag online, you probably are in person too. So that's like, you might be in the office then offending people. So it's just, if you're employing people like that are going to do that, they're just not people you want to, like you said, have them put there.
Yeah, and actually, that's exactly what the point was going to be about. That it comes into your recruitment policy, you know, to begin with. So, what kind of people are you recruiting in the first place? Are you recruiting people who are, you know, probably going to do that? Well, actually try not to recruit them in the first place, because you'll be able to find out and what they're like. So tie it all in and protect yourself from the earliest, protect your business from the earliest point. Don't come down on people who are working with you, because there's far more benefits to them being themselves than stopping them from what they're talking about. So.
Did you ever see Steve Levy's Follow You to the Grave?
Yeah, that terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me. So.
Oh, no.
But did you see him on the actual news? He was on the news, and that was it. Follow You to the Grave. It was awesome. When I spoke at Recruit DC, I had it so that he spoke. Do you remember, Audrey? I got him just to say those words. But he was only allowed to say those words, which was the hardest part. Giving Steve a mic. But it's true, though, no?
I might the next when I meet. I've actually not met Steve yet, and in person.
Oh my God!
But hopefully, I think he might be coming over to Europe soon. So,
I know.
I'll walk about with us. You know, I'll follow you to the grave, Steve.
I know a reason he could come next year. I don't know if he knows the reason. I'll chat to him afterwards. It's all top secret at the moment.
Nice.
But it's true. It is just that awareness. We try and educate, you know, our staff or candidates in particular, actually, you know, to go, you know, just you know, your employers are going to search for you online. So it's not only our education, it's our candidates and our clients' education as well. But actually, our clients is a big part, particularly with the fun and games, which is the GDPR stuff that's coming in next year. The what I've nicknamed it generally depressing, potentially ruining policy that's going to be kicking about, because the enforcement, you know, if you're a client that shares information or views information incorrectly, or an agency that does it, then the fines are hefty. They could put you out of business. So we need to start thinking smarter about, you know, not only about how we're representing ourselves online, but how we're using the information that we actually find online.
So how far does it go? Does it go right into the whole, if I just go look you up on LinkedIn and call you, is that a problem?
It's starting to. There was some news yesterday about that, where if someone's applied specifically for a vacancy, and you go and look up their social media.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, with even LinkedIn, they haven't. Well, I think LinkedIn's a different one, because that's set up with allegedly with the purpose of trying to find a new job. But it's you know, the Europeans are going quite far with this, and it's because it all starts. This policy has actually, without going into too much detail about it, started with the Human Rights Act, and it's actually devolved from that, as opposed to data acts, which the old Data Protection Act went to. So,
are they saying you're looking at a profile and ruling them out? because of something you find? Is that their issue? Or
It's even looking at it, even looking up the information.
how can they tell you're not looking at it for the positive?
Exactly. So, but this is where it is quite extreme in terms of what they're doing with it. So we just need to be really careful.
It's probably because the Germans are really anti it, aren't they?
Yeah.
They have quite a sway. And I know when I was in Spain speaking, they were saying, oh, you know, you can't just take photos of us and share it.
Yeah.
You need everyone's written permission going. You know, when you live in London, the most photographed city in the world, with CCTV, you're like, yeah, whatever. Oh, my photo's out there again. Imagine that. But, you know, it's so different. So it's not surprising it's coming from Europe.
Yeah.
It's so different culturally. We're so open in many respects.
I was talking to my mum about this last night. I'll call my mum, or Germany's like my mum. She doesn't like getting pictures of herself shared on Facebook either. So, you know, she had an argument with one of her friends the other day that shared a picture of her in her bar. So, you know, but that is where a lot of this is stemming from. And I spoke to the guys at, you know, Chris and Joseph when he was there at Zalando about this, and you know, how they can use data. And actually, as certainly as a marketer and sourcer at heart, I need data to do my job. But actually, it really if we use it in the right way, it's hugely beneficial to our candidates, and it's hugely
which is how we treat it, right?
Yeah. Treat it with respect. Don't abuse it.
I've never gone and said, hey, find Billy on LinkedIn and then find him everywhere else and use it to rule him out. It's all about how do you get him to talk, because you're not just doing another spam email. Yeah. So what's John written down here? LinkedIn is viewed as acceptable source of data on a person as have given explicit permission already. True. And then according to the terms of service, but the EC has the power to override the terms of service. Yeah, that's interesting.
And Steve's made a really good and valid point there, because on LinkedIn, you know, if you export your connections, so if I export my connections onto a work PC, you know, that might be in line with LinkedIn's terms of service, but it's probably in breach of GDPR at the moment, because I'm downloading data onto my PC and not informing people that I'm actually doing that. So there's I
do that all the time, waiting for LinkedIn to put me on the naughty step and close my account. I'm always like, I'm going to get it off now.
Doesn't say you have to delete it after 6 months, or I heard someone saying that if you get information, you have to.
You can, and there's deletion policies you need to put in place, but what they're saying is, as well, as part of it, and a lot of this is down to interpretation at the moment, but some advice is if you know, download the connections, you can retain them for 30 days, but within that 30 days, you've got to notify and get permission to hold that information. And if someone says, no, you can't hold that information, then no, you can't, which is good in a way for sourcers. For you know, if we are sourcing, then the fact we can actually still use data to source without having to, you know, or keep it on our system for a short period of time, it is great. But you know, it's challenging in other ways, but it also means that you can potentially come up with unique, you know, ways of getting around it, ways that could actually benefit not only the candidate and the business, and should encourage us to be a bit more creative about how we're working. So.
I wonder how it will affect things like Hello Talent, where you're not really you're only saving links to their profile and your notes and your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because you're not really, because it's quite handy though, isn't it? So you don't have to do all that original sourcing all over again.
I think there's implications for you know, any tool. You know, never mind.
Is that an actual telephone?
It's an actual telephone, yeah.
Those still exist.
So they do.
What the hell's a phone? Yeah, I was having memories of the 70s. I was there. Audrey wasn't born yet. Okay.
So I think there is going to be implications for tons of the tools that we take for granted. I'm sure the guys at Hello Talent and the rest are working hard with our customers. I know that you know, we work with Hello Talent, we work with Firefish, we work with Candidate ID, all these businesses who I know are working hard with their customers to make sure that A, we're not breaching, but also B, we're still working with candidates and clients in the way that's going to benefit them, because this is what it's all about. You know, we don't want this stuff to restrict business and restrict the way that we're operating. We just want to make sure that we don't breach it, we don't fall foul of these significant fines that they're talking about. So
Speaking of Firefish, Mr. McLennan has just written, I think it will be a good thing. It will give great recruiters a chance to stand up from the mediocre. It will hurt those that fling crap at the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
Not the good guys and girls. Yeah, it's so true, right?
Cammie's right. There's a definite opportunity for people to do things right, and also to get their, you know, we did a lot of work when we went on board with Firefish. We actually did do a huge amount of work on this, so it's going to be kind of less painful for us moving forward. But you know, it should, you know, get rid of people who are throwing crap at the wall, people who just, you know, don't take any care of the data that they're gathering, and allow guys who are doing stuff properly to continue to do so and stand out.
I think when you're a weeny little company like I am, I probably don't do the right stuff with my data because there's just stuff everywhere. Because it's like it's me. It's like my desk, you know, my machine.
Yeah.
So I'm probably better to go through and just delete it all, and then not to be concerned about it. Stick it on a detachable hard drive somewhere.
Yeah,
and, like hide it
in a closet.
Because you kind of go, it's just me. Of course, it's like there's stuff everywhere.
Take us back to the days of our little black books. When in 2005, and that's 12 years ago, I still had my little black book with, you know, had all my candidate registrations, had all my placements, had everything. You know, it's. So, but even then, I think that can come under this nonsense. So, but
we'll just have to hide the fax machine.
Yeah, we'll do that. And I'll keep some carrier pigeons in the loft and do all these things. But it's actually a kind of serious point because it's about, you know, for me, it's about trying to use information in the right way, but also think about how, you know, whether it's, you know, on social or any other ways, think about how we're approaching candidates and the way we're doing it, you know, and that's what we, you know, as a business, we try and instill that way. We try and make sure that we are doing things that are a little bit different from the bigger agencies. We like to think we're a little bit more tailored in terms of approach. We're certainly not perfect, but by any manner of means. And you know, if you take that step back and use social media in the right way, like what we're talking about today, make sure that you're branded properly across it, then that's a massive way of bringing traffic into you and making yourself more appealing. We get tons and tons of leads from the blogs. So pretty much I think every consultant in our business is working with our content specialist on blogs now, and on a daily basis they're getting new candidate leads, they're getting new business leads from it because they're out talking about the industry. So you can use this as an opportunity to go, do you know what? I'm not going to rely on email anymore. I'm not going to rely on spamming anymore. I'm actually going to try and make a brand for myself. Interestingly, it's a different kind of example, but Wetherspoons, the pub chain, you know, really cheap pub chain in the UK for those that aren't here, they've because of GDPR, they've just went, do you know what? Our database of 600,000 customers, we're deleting it, and we're just not going to bother with it, and they're just going to put all their focus on brand and all their focus on bringing customers to their site. So you look at it and go,
because we all know where there's a Wetherspoons. It wouldn't even enter my head to think about whether I got an email from them. Do they send offers? I don't even know.
I don't know personally because I'm not on the list, you know.
But haven't we all opted in? Like Audra said, inbound marketing. Haven't we opted in to be on? Not that I'd ever even drink in Wetherspoons, but we opted in to be on their mailing list. Sorry, beer snob.
I'm making no comments about
all about Fuller's, my beautiful Disrupt HR sponsor.
I live in Glasgow, so I think we've got a Wetherspoons on every street. So I'm not making any comment about it. But the opt-in thing, I think, because the enforcement hasn't been there around opt-in. You know, there has been a consequence. Companies a wee bit lax about actually getting proper opt-in and documenting it. So I think in Wetherspoons' case, you know, I think that seems to be the case of when, you know, we haven't really maybe done this as well as we should have done. We've got a good list, we've got a good clean list, but actually the consequences of it, if we get it wrong, are too severe. And
so should we really all just be like almost emailing our list and saying, could you please reconfirm?
Yeah.
So you've got evidence. Because, I mean, people forget too. Like I've got tons of people of mine who just forget why they're there.
Yeah, but you've got to have a powerful list to do that. So that might be great for you, but you've probably got a list that's full of people who will actually reconfirm. But if you're a business, even us as an agency, ours is about 35,000, I think, at the moment. And some of those people, we and a lot of them we won't have any strong relationship or any depth of relationship
right.
with. So it's a useful tool for us for branding. It's a useful tool for us to attempt to keep in touch. But if we reconfirm, if we send out an email saying, can you just confirm your details with us again? How many of them are going to? That's something we as a business have to put a lot of thought into, to actually how we do it and how we're going to structure it to try and give us the best possible result and outcome.
Have you tried Push Crew?
No,
you know
I've tried, no.
Try it, because you get 500 for free.
Cool.
So it's worth trying. And I'm stunned at how many people do sign up and the much higher click rate. Because it'll pop out on the side and say the searchologist has published a new blog, which is pretty erratic, to be fair, when I get around to publishing one. But I find the click-through rate's quite high because it's people have chosen to receive the message that way. I wonder if that's less of a breach as well. But then I guess it's how much information you want. I'm still talking, like you were saying, Audra, inbound marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does this count for the data in your ATS too? So people that have applied like 5 years ago, and we still have their data in our applicant tracking system?
Yeah, there's some rules around that. I think it seems to be as long as you've represented the candidate and you've actually submitted them to jobs, you've taken some kind of activity, you should be okay. But if you've not contacted that person for a number of years, if you've not spoken to them in, like you say, 5 years, then you're probably going to need to parse it. You're probably going to need to delete those people from it. So, which we've got a database that's been built over 21 years. We've got 130,000, I think, or so on our database. So that's a kind of big decision. But again, actually, it's an opportunity, real opportunity to go. Actually, if we're going to try and re-engage people, how do we do it? Are there other ways we should be doing it? What's going to work for our candidates? What's going to benefit them? I'd recommend any agency that's not looking at this, or any recruitment function at all that's not doing it, take a step back, go and talk to the market, talk to the RAC or APSCO or any of the bodies that are getting involved in this stuff. Talk to your peers, find out what's going on. It'll be insightful for you, but see it as an opportunity to get your house in order and get it sorted out.
So with the agencies who've always been so scared of social media, they're probably just proving their point now. Because they'll be like, oh, well, just as well we have been. You haven't been anywhere else but LinkedIn. Because I'm scared of it now. You can't find anybody on there.
To a degree, I suppose.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Does your company have a really strict social media policy, and is that normal for agencies over there?
No, we're fairly lax with it. We're very much along the lines of just be normal. Don't be a dick.
There's an actual document that says that.
I wish. No,
it says don't be a dick.
But as long as
HR policy.
I got that from our HR manager.
It's all inclusive.
Our HR manager is also TA, so Territorial Army, so it did probably come from him. But it's our policy is be reasonable about it. Don't act. In fact, I think we've used a line when we've been discussing this in meetings as well. Just think about what would your mum want to see that online? What would she be embarrassed to actually see that? And if she would, don't post it. So we tend to be a wee bit, quite relaxed about it. A little bit less stringent, I suppose, than what some businesses can be. So.
Yep.
Oh, I've still Steve.
Like it, don't post it.
Sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to steal your line, mate. But.
Yeah, I love Cam. Can you use that in our policy, Billy? You should trademark it. So we do. Trademarked by Billy McDermott. It's a really good idea. So going back to this agency idea. So before the whole GDPR hits in, and we all go, "Oh my god!" I'm still trying to get what. I mean, I still can't work out why there's the fear. But what would you do if you were an agency recruiter and you could see the benefit of having a great social media presence? How would you win your boss over? Have you got any tips for that? Like when you come up against it?
Yeah, I think start small. Think about what you want to use it for. Think about one specific project that you could actually use it for. So I've worked with one of our team recently on a kind of niche customer service role, and encouraged him to, use Facebook actively in order, for the first time, in order for him to get some results from that. Small scale projects, couple of placements, nothing massive, and he can now turn around to his manager, his senior manager, and go, look, I'm getting this. So this is working, and he's seen revenue from it this month. So start off from there, and then build up and spread the word as well amongst the team. That's the other thing. If you get success, even if it's one placement from Facebook, brilliant, I got it. When you're ringing the bell, say, I'm ringing the bell, that placement's from Facebook. So fill your boots, give it a shot, because there's a good chance you're going to get something from it. And then repeat and learn from it. We'll all make mistakes. I'm a big fan of starting small, building up, sharing the news, sharing the good news stories about the business, and then other people will build up on it. And that's how we've started with blogging, actually. When we didn't have a content specialist until the beginning of the year, and it was about stuff that I had done last year. I went, look, we can do bits of this and we'll get results from it. And now we're getting higher volume results from it. We're getting real traction from that. When I started off sourcing on Facebook a few years ago, it was the same. Start off with one vacancy. I think it was for a truck HGV mechanic. I think randomly, about 4 years ago, and it worked. Absolutely worked. And when we're using, and this applies for any tools that we're using. This applies for any processes that we're doing. Start small and then build it up. Don't commit too much time to it, because, to be honest, you'll look like an idiot if you've committed too much time to it and it doesn't work.
So what are you blogging about?
Oh, what are we blogging?
That'll be the next question. I haven't got any time, and what do I blog about?
What are you blogging? What are we blogging about today, Mary? Mary will answer that question.
Audrey must have some ideas.
Well, it all depends on your audience and what's valuable.
Well, we've got about 10 or 11 different audiences that we're writing for. So today we're talking about recruiting for Attitude. What else have we done? But that's financial services specific. And then we do a Friday Funny. You can't have a blog without a Friday Funny.
Oh, good.
So, and that's like about.
Why doesn't she just come over and say all of that, and then we can hear her?
I have to take my headphones on if she has.
Why does Steve? I don't want to invite Steve on the screen. He wants to come on. I'm scared. He mightn't have clothes on.
I think there's a good chance he might not have clothes on.
Did you notice that Jim was going, it's Billy, I haven't seen you for a long time.
Jim.
I have clothes on. Why do you want to come on the screen? I'm too scared of what you're going to say.
No, let him on.
Will I let him on?
Yeah.
Are you dressed, Stephen? I'm inviting you on.
He promises he has clothes on. So yes,
he's hijacking your show, mate.
He's wearing at least
your show.
But I like that.
I've invited
segment. It's cool. It sounds like you segment your groups and send certain blogs in that direction. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
And we have to, because we've got so many audiences. So we do build up topics. We work about 4 to 6 weeks in advance. It's taken us a while to get the guys on board. Don't get me wrong, but we're there and we're getting.
But they're seeing the results. Obviously.
And
I love the idea of having the Friday Funny as well. Like, that's a nice shot of your goatee. Can we move your head in? Oh, there he is. Mr. Levy, why do we have to invite you on? There's no way I was clicking that link you put over there. I'm sure that's
No. Click on the link. It's a safe link. And we talk about.
No, I can't. I'll kill Crowdcast. I'm not doing it. You'll all hate me.
No, that was for Billy. When if people in your ATS are like two or more years older, I've always found humor as a way to get them.
Okay. So that was. Why did you want to come on? It's Billy's show.
I just want to say hi, and just in case Audra wants to go, with that cast of hers wants to go take like a a pee break or something like that. That's all.
Everybody who's viewed this show down here will be going, they're really weird. This is meant to be serious stuff.
So again, Billy, I will see you later this year in Dublin.
Nice one, mate.
In Dublin?
In Dublin. We'll work it out. So you can kill me now. Kill me now.
Oh, you're going? Is that it? You just came out to say that? Random boy. Okay,
we're social here. We're social.
Oh, no, that only closes your video. How do I get rid of you?
Pardon me?
Oh, there I go. I'm removing you now. I didn't even know how to do that. That's hilarious. Bye-bye.
No, you should let him stay.
He just said kick me off.
Okay.
I think Cammy's just got some ransomware installed on his PC after clicking that link from Steve.
My machine is now asking me to enter my bank details.
He needs to transfer 300 Bitcoin within the next 24 hours.
Absolutely, or he'll never get his machine back. Oh my god, that's too funny. Too funny. So what do you do if you're having a moment, you're not funny? Friday's just, you're having a bad Friday and you're just not feeling funny. What do you do?
Me?
Well, you have to write a Friday funny blog. It's Friday. Look, this is what I go through, right? I decide I'm going to blog every Friday and then don't because I don't feel funny or I'm not in the mood. So I'm kind of curious.
He has a whole team. Yeah. He's got a whole team, so you just find someone that is feeling funny, right?
That's cheating. I don't have a team.
Yeah, he does. So.
do you know what? I try and think about what's actually happened to me over the past week. What, think about, I quite like the everyday life humour. I'm a big fan of Ricky Gervais and that type of thing, that just normal work in your normal day-to-day life, whether it's like what Mary's blogged about today, which is about your commute, the type of people you find on your commute into work, whether it's, what you're actually involved in work. We all laugh in work, if you're working with other people. Yeah, see your dog's laughing. There we go. So, that awkward moment where your doorbell goes.
My dogs bark so rarely. You should be actually honoured to hear that.
It's true.
Blab dog, that's right. Well, actually, blab dogs. That was actually both of them barking. Honestly, Lance doesn't bark. It's like a really rare. So the fact they both barked is. You are very honoured. Anyway, I'm so sorry that completely just destroyed what you were saying.
No worries. So just
literally back over your week and just reflecting on it.
Yeah, and you'll find something funny, and or go back into the past, and we've all got these stories that we remember from 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago that are funny, that are embarrassing, that maybe made you feel uncomfortable at the time, but someone will find it. That's if you keep it honest, then.
Honestly, he doesn't do this. That's the Labrador. He just doesn't do that. I'm so sorry.
It was probably Steve.
No, they're having it's my thing here. I can't even hide it. They're having a whole conversation at the door.
So what you're going to be blogging about next week is how to do a
professional video call with Billy
without your dogs interrupted.
I'm so sorry, everyone. It's so embarrassing. And Jim's written, now my dog's barking. It's all happening. We're all barking now. Yeah, we can definitely do that. That should be my challenge, actually. Our recruitment is like dogs barking while you're on a video chat.
Yeah. It's just as well I'm not at home because I'd have 3 cats, just like the cat as well.
Where's that cat? Where's he going?
He's right here.
With the cast. Everyone that's new on the call will be going, oh my god, what's she done to herself?
He looks after me.
But you've had a lot of conversation around that cast, right? Something happened to you, so people just talk to you about that, and they all know, you do employer branding as well, but it's like easy to have that conversation about the human side.
Yeah, otherwise you're just the same as everyone else and you're not memorable. I think it's important to be a little different than other people, right?
Yeah.
It's about it's just about gets back to that being you and just being honest, and actually that's the big thing. If you're restricted or feel like you can't, or being restricted by your employer, or feel that personally you can't talk about this stuff online, and people are never going to get the true picture of you. That's and I think and recruiters, particularly in the UK market, particularly when I started in 2005, you were encouraged to be this. Not necessarily a different person to yourself, but a different person to yourself. Someone that your clients wanted to see instead of who you wanted your clients to be. And luckily, over the past 12 years, we've had this completely new medium of talking to our prospects, whether it's social or whether it's Crowdcast or whatever it is. You come on and you sit in your house, do the Crowdcast of your dogs running about in the background or your cat sitting on your lap.
Honestly, you should hear what's going on behind me, which you now can't hear so much, but it's nuts. It's interesting. I saw a LinkedIn update yesterday, which I really loved, because this woman, when I replaced the company, which I just thought was such a great way of putting it, when her new boss had a real problem with a piercing that she had, which was a pretty lame piercing. It might have been an eyebrow or something, but it was nothing really out there compared to some of the stuff you see.
Yeah.
And there was a whole conversation about piercings and tattoos, and I thought, I can't believe we're having this in 2017. Like, it's just, the world has become so relaxed. Like we were talking about before we went live.
Yeah.
But it just seems crazy.
It's and you hope and maybe, I don't know, maybe sometimes we live in a bubble because of the work that we do, and because we're speaking to generally quite like-minded people, you know, so maybe we think and go, oh, the whole world should be like this, but and maybe it should, but I think that's what we need to remember, and that's why we need to, you know, we talk about this, about employers, about clients all the time. You know, remember, clients aren't like us. Clients will think about things in a different way. They may look up some information about a candidate online and discover something about them that is a protected characteristic about that person, but actually, you know, that will swing, and it could be something as simple, you know, it might not even be a protected characteristic. It might be they support the wrong football team. You know, that could be, and that's in Glasgow. That's a particular problem. Do you know?
Yeah.
You know, if you're of the wrong football top colour, then there's a, you know, that has happened. We've seen it happen before. So, but you know, the thing, you don't want to. You know, we encourage candidates to be aware of that, but we don't want to discourage them about being themselves. Do you know, that's hugely, hugely important. But if
you started that company and then discovered that, and they discovered that about you probably leave anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
You might as well just be yourself and let it out there.
Yeah, and at least know from the outset. You know, I wouldn't want to work for a company that discriminated against anyone, and we don't want to work with clients that do that. So if we find out, we will walk away from them. If that's a kid type of behaviour they're doing, we just won't get involved with them.
And I think there's more and more of that happening as well, particularly because I keep talking about the knowledge leech that I think is going on. That's, again, due to the internet, because we have such transparency, so you can actually see what opportunities are out there. So tech in that respect has been great for those that have embraced it.
Yeah.
But that, you know, we can walk away from work. So people are leaving companies, setting up on their own, and then choosing who they will deliver their knowledge back to, which I see as really exciting times. So I think companies do need to sit up and pay attention to all this stuff as well, which is a little off the agency thing, but it's not dissimilar.
No, it's not, and it's about going. But it's not. In fact, it's not off agency at all, because even as an individual recruiter, you know, our model was very much the individual recruiters are effectively their own profit and loss to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, they are their own desk, and their brand actually and how they represent themselves in the market is as important as the brand the HR consultancy portray in the market. They are there in their sector, they're specialists in their sector, so they can choose to go, I'm going to work with that type of company, or they're not going to work with that type of company. They're going to, you know, work with, you know, people that will work with them instead of the companies that will work against them. And particularly just now, because in the vast majority of our divisions it is a candidate short market, even in the traditionally high volume, lower end areas, you know, production operators, customer service, these things are all, it is a very candidate driven market. Their clients are being extraordinarily fussy about technical skills and about soft skills. So we encourage clients to look past, you know, things like, you know, what someone sees on a social media channel, or what colour of hair someone's got, or you know, what, you know, all these different kind of things, because ultimately they have got no impact on how good someone's going to be at a job or not.
Yeah,
good point.
That goes back to the dressing thing as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just God, it's a different world. It has changed a lot in a very short period of time, and I think there are a lot of senior managers that haven't quite caught up.
Yep.
Hey, Billy, for people that you place into positions, do you, before you even take them on, look at their social media?
We do, probably more often than we should. But we're okay just now.
Only in legal ways.
Yeah. But to be honest, the reason we do it is to try and protect the candidate, and to make sure that if there is anything that could risk them getting in the position, unnecessarily then tidy it up just now.
Yeah.
Kind of sort it out. And I've done it personally. Yeah, I've done it personally in the past when I've hired, nothing to do with finding out really anything more than, is the person actually active online? What are they talking about? Is it quite interesting? It's it's not to make a decision about whether I'm going to hire them or not based on any other characteristic, but I'm interested. I'm really interested in what people talk about. In fact, we were talking about this, and work the other day. I'll scroll down through people's Facebook timelines quite far, just to see what they've actually been talking about recently, and then I'm terrified in case I hit the like button, from a post from 2013. It's the fear. No,
oh, good word. But I think that when I was talking about that, Google yourself. Like, do you look like a recruiter worth talking to? Do you even look like a human being worth talking to? It's the same thing, right? To give yourself that audit. And I just think in 2017 that people are aware of that. And I'm not sure as well when when GDPR does fully hit, that actually if I find you online and I contact you, that you're actually going to be that bothered about it. If I approach you appropriately, if it's all about that, how you go about it. Yeah. But I think again, you've got to be aware that all three of us have got unusual names, so we rank high on Google. So you've got to know, how am I presenting myself? All that stuff you just said.
You're right, and the main people, are pretty open to approaches. But as important as the, as Googling yourself is Googling the company, because actually, admittedly, we made a boo-boo on that, recently, and it's not, we just hadn't been keeping an eye on our Indeed reviews, for example, when we probably should have been keeping a close eye, and it wasn't until a potential recruiter for us actually came and went, oh God, have you seen your Indeed reviews? And I went, God, actually, you know what, we've not really put a focus on that. So keeping an eye.
Glassdoor actually messages you, I think, when you get a review. But I don't know that Indeed does.
Indeed
so what will you do to deal with those, though? Are you going to respond to them, or try and get more, or how will you deal with them?
First of all, respond to them, and then try and then just put a focus on trying to get more. So we now talk to placed candidates and encourage them to review us on Facebook, and indeed we talk to former members of staff and existing members of staff to encourage them to do it as well. It's a bit of an organic one. It's I think it looks you've got to be careful about how you play it and make sure it does look genuine. There's a few businesses out there where it's quite blatantly not genuine. So just look at what people are saying about you. Make sure you check your tweets that are there, because a lot of businesses don't check what people are tweeting at them.
Tweet, like, search something like "I hate my job" and stuff like that. Absolutely fodder of information.
Make sure you're searching Facebook posts for do all the usual social media monitoring as well as checking through your search engines to see what people are talking about, and make sure that you're not hindering your good people's chances by having a company brand that's poor. So
it's interesting. Steve makes a point here about having all of the Gmail alerts and all that kind of stuff, but I've had it where it's not actually sent me. I have one set up in my name, in inverted commas, of course, and it hadn't sent it.
Wow.
People send articles over and me go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Sometimes it's been quite ineffective, and trying to get a good social media monitoring platform doesn't cost you the earth is quite challenging. Audience, which used to be Social Pro, that was the best one, certainly we found for Twitter. But we've never found anything that's amazing for anything else. So if anybody's got any suggestions, then I'm always happy to hear about them.
No, I actually was trialing one yesterday. They approached me, were like, "Can you trial it?" And the first thing I said was, "But I can't search for an exact term, so why would I use this?" It was all about like networking with the influencers, and I was like trying not to be really arrogant. I already do that, like in real life over beer. But but that was quite frustrating, because I was like, we want to search for that term, like your company name or training or whatever, marketing. You're looking for leads or whatever. It's very strange. But actually, I don't even know the pricing. But you're right; they're so ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. So
really, check out one called Ratedly. It's it looks at all the different. Oh, I don't know that. It could be, but they look at all the different platforms, and it's pretty interesting.
Ratedly, cool. I'll take a look at that. I think that's probably the other thing that ties into business owners' concerns as well. It's not just the individuals; it's the association with brand, and like Steve was saying, earlier, it'll follow you to your grave. There can be, if there's something big that goes on. We do a lot of work in the legal sector, for example. And when we've had a few ex-clients and ex-candidates who have been barred from working as solicitors. And that kind of thing doesn't go away. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be, and the business name is always going to be associated with people
under the Google News.
Yeah, it's always.
So I had that blog that I wrote about the girl that used the photo from the secretary to advertise for a secretary in Mayfair on LinkedIn, and then people started complaining, and she didn't take it down. She even used the words "assume the position," for example. Anyway, she didn't take it down, and of course, it's the agency that you find, not her name. It's still there under the. It went all around the globe. It was in Russian and everything. Like, it's still there, still biting them on the butt. So, kind of high. What's this whole conversation going on down the side?
She needed that lesson in not to be a douchebag.
Yeah. And that's it. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier on. Just make sure you don't hire dicks in the first place, or douchebags in the first place. That's it. And
so that's your second HR policy: don't hire dicks.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Don't hire dicks.
HR's dead easy. Really simple.
And then once you don't hire, when you hire the non-dicks, don't over police them.
Yeah.
let them free.
Yes.
Just let them get on with it. Don't try and control people. Just let them roam. Let them be loose.
Play.
So,
let them play.
So let them experiment. Let them try different things. Let people make mistakes. Without over penalising, understand, because the people that take risks and the people that experiment will be the people that get the best results.
Yeah. Yes, Jim, we can get those words past HR because this is the new HR we're forming. Douchebag, a non-douchebag.
I'm going to go.
Right, so you in 3 minutes have to run away somewhere nice, didn't you say?
Yeah.
Where are you off to, Mr. Damon?
I'm away up to deepest, darkest Perthshire, so Pitlochry for the weekend. So
is that further north?
So it's probably in between Glasgow and Inverness, so kind of halfway.
Wow. Well, I hope you get some sun up there.
Yeah. So
I thought we just hogged it in the southeast corner, to be fair, but
it'll probably rain. To be honest, it'll be. I had my one day of sunshine at Wreckfest, last week. So.
Oh, well, no, you had the second one. You had the one at the festival because I was going, "What the hell's that blue stuff?" And you were like, you were running away from it in Glasgow. I saw all of that on Instagram. See?
Oh yeah, True. That's true.
You look sunburned. So next week,
I've got a shine. I'm not sunburned. I've got a shine.
God, Wreckfest was warm. Oh my God, that was warm. Anyway, next week we have Aaron Daniels and Joe Weech, veteran hiring. So that should be a really cool show. So a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much for coming on. That was very off topic and incredibly interesting. So
we talked a lot about data, but it was really cool.
But actually, I think that's appropriate. So ask Aaron to
thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you as well. So, and thank you, everybody. We shall see you next week, same time, same place, different link slightly, but you know where we are. See you all next week.
Cheers,
bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks so much, Billy.
Cheers. Bye.